Single dad sends flirty text to cold neighbor. What she does next shocks him. The storm clouds were still hanging low over the small apartment complex when Daniel Hale typed a message that even he didn't fully understand. His fingers trembled, not from fear, but from exhaustion, the kind that crawls into your bones after years of carrying burdens alone. At 6:47 a.m., with his daughter still asleep in the next room and the weight of another difficult day pressing on his chest, he hit send. The message went straight to the woman who had spent months avoiding him, barely meeting his eyes, barely acknowledging his existence, yet somehow living rent-free in the quiet spaces of his mind. And the moment the flirty text left his phone, Daniel felt something shift, as if he had just cracked open a door he'd kept shut for far too long. What he didn't know was that this small, impulsive moment would unravel secrets, break walls, and rewrite the way two broken hearts understood love and forgiveness. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of emotional stories, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Ripple of Kindness. Your support helps us create more heart-touching content. Daniel had never imagined life this way, balancing breakfast plates, school runs, late-night shifts, and the constant ache of not being enough. 3 years earlier, he had buried the woman he once believed he would grow old with. Cancer had stolen her quickly, leaving him with a 3-year-old daughter, Lily, who cried every night for a mother she barely remembered, and a heart that felt like it had been hollowed out. He moved into the Maplewood residency not because it was beautiful, but because it was what he could afford while juggling hospital debt and long working hours. Most neighbors were friendly enough, offering smiles or small talk, except for one, the mysterious, cold, reserved woman who lived right across from him, Evelyn Hart. Evelyn was everything Daniel wasn't: quiet, distant, and wrapped in an icy calm that made people keep their distance. She moved like a shadow, slipping in and out of her apartment with minimal interaction. People whispered stories about her: heartbreak, scandal, trauma, none confirmed, all treated as truth. Daniel, in his own wrecked world, never paid attention to rumors. The first time he saw her, he noticed not her coldness but the sadness etched between her brows, the way she avoided eye contact, the way her hands looked like they were always holding something broken. But life left him no space to wonder about her deeper. He had Lily to take care of, bills to handle, and grief to navigate. Yet every morning as he rushed out with Lily, he would find Evelyn watering the potted plants outside her door, the only thing in her life that looked alive. She never spoke, never smiled, but she always glanced once at Lily. Just once. As if the presence of a child tugged at a thread she had tightly knotted inside herself. Lily, being pure innocence, would wave every time. Evelyn never waved back, but her eyes softened barely, almost imperceptibly. Daniel noticed, and against all logic, the smallest spark of curiosity bloomed inside him. One morning, after a terrible night at work and a rough morning with Lily who refused to go to school without her missing shoe, Daniel made a reckless, tired decision. His friend at work had joked that he should try texting Evelyn, just to break the ice. Daniel didn't think he'd actually do it, but fatigue has a strange way of lowering walls, and loneliness has a way of whispering foolish courage into a man's ear. So he typed a message, something lighthearted, harmless, a bit flirty, the kind of message he hadn't sent anyone since his wife died. And then he sent it. Moments later, Daniel regretted everything. He felt stupid. Evelyn wasn't the type to respond. She probably found him annoying already. Maybe she would avoid him entirely now. He spent the whole morning tense, imagining every awkward possibility, untangling Lily's hair while trying not to drown in anxiety. But just before he left for work, his phone buzzed. It was her. The message was short but not rude. Curious, cautious, surprising. She said she didn't expect that kind of text from him, and she wasn't sure how to respond. There was no anger, no coldness, only confusion. And for the first time, Daniel wondered if the woman everyone described as a frozen wall might just be someone afraid of melting. Over the next few days, their small interactions slowly shifted. She sent a message asking about Lily's favorite snacks after seeing Daniel return with groceries. He replied with a light joke. She responded with a smiley, something he didn't expect. Soon, they found themselves exchanging messages late at night, long after Lily had fallen asleep, long after the building had gone quiet. It wasn't flirting anymore. It was two wounded souls sharing fragments of their stories. Evelyn revealed little by little. She had lost her younger sister in an accident years ago, a tragedy that tore her family apart and left her drowning in guilt she never fully explained. She had moved to Maplewood to escape memories that clung to her like ghosts. Daniel didn't pry, he simply listened. And she listened back, offering silent comfort through her words whenever he spoke about Lily or his wife. Their connection grew not through fairy tale romance but through the quiet understanding of pain. Things began to change one afternoon when Lily fell sick. Daniel had to leave work early, rushing home in panic. The little girl burned with fever, crying weakly, and he felt helpless all over again, the way he always did when life reminded him that he was doing this alone. In desperation, he knocked on Evelyn's door, something he never imagined himself doing. When she opened it, she looked startled, but the moment she saw Lily's flushed face, her expression transformed. Without hesitation, she helped Daniel bring Lily inside, prepared cool compresses, and sat beside the small girl with surprising tenderness. For the first time since she'd moved in, Evelyn let her guard down. She didn't hide her trembling hands or the emotion in her eyes. Daniel watched her, wondering how someone could carry so much brokenness and still offer gentleness like this. That night changed something profound between them. Walls didn't crumble instantly, but they cracked, and light seeped in. From that day on, Evelyn became a quiet presence in their lives, not replacing anything or anyone, but gently filling a space Daniel never realized was empty. She joined them for small moments, helping with homework, sharing meals, reading stories to Lily when Daniel was late from work. Lily adored her, sensing the softness beneath her reserved exterior. And slowly, Daniel found himself smiling again, laughing again, feeling again. But happiness is fragile, especially for those who have learned to expect its absence. One evening, a misunderstanding threatened to break everything. A relative of Evelyn visited unexpectedly, and Daniel overheard harsh words, accusations, reminders of the tragedy she had tried so hard to escape. Evelyn's guilt resurfaced violently, and she withdrew again, shutting everyone out, including Daniel and Lily. She stopped responding to messages. Her door remained closed for days. It felt as though the brief warmth she had allowed